I'm attorney Nick Alcock. We're going to speak about plea cutoff deadlines and how that can affect a criminal case, how it could affect you if you're charged with a crime and you're facing a deadline where the prosecutor's made a plea offer and that plea offer is about to expire. So if you have been charged with a crime, normally the prosecution is going to give you some amount of time to investigate the charges, and they're going to give you some amount of time to look at the police report, speak with your attorney, conduct interviews, that kind of thing. And then they're going to say, all right, this is the date that you have to decide now. And you have to decide whether or not you're going to take a plea or you're going to continue with the case. The problem with this is that many times the attorney actually isn't going to know absolutely everything there is to know about your case. For example, if you are in the RCC or the Regional Court Center and you're charged with a felony down there, they might say, okay, you've got 2 weeks or you've got 4 weeks to consider the plea offer. And if you don't take this plea offer, then the plea offer will be voided and it won't be extended. And in fact, if you take it to the next level and if you go to trial group, the plea offer is going to get harsher. So this is a terrible position to be in as a defense attorney because many times we don't know the entire story. We haven't had a chance to conduct all of the interviews. We haven't had an opportunity to look into absolutely everything, especially if we get hired late in the game. So many times people come to us a couple days before court, but we find out they've already been to court a couple times, and now we've only have a couple days to look into the case. Obviously, we're not going to know everything, and in some cases, we won't actually take a case if we feel like, well, we're too close to a deadline, and there's no way for us to give you 100% accurate legal advice. And this is especially true in a case that's very, very old, where a case is already set to trial, and let's say the next day the person has to decide whether or not they're going to be taking a plea offer. So this deadline, can get a little bit confusing because in many cases, even after the deadline has lapsed, a good defense attorney can renegotiate and get another plea on the table. The problem is that there's no guarantees. And there's no guarantees when you're at the RCC level and they make a plea offer and then you take it to the next level. Yeah, it's certainly possible to get a better plea offer, but the regulation and the policy is that the plea offer is going to get worse. So your attorney is going to go from, say, a plea of a year, and let's say that plea then becomes 2 years when you take it to trial group, and then you're starting from 2 and you got to whittle it down to get under a year, and there's certainly no guarantees. Where it gets even more concerning is that when you're facing trial and say you're 30 days outside of trial and the plea offer is for X number of years or X number of days or whatever, and you reject that plea offer, prosecutors will say there will not be another plea offer after this. Obviously, in many cases there is a plea offer, but that's what they're going to say. And there's really no way for a defense attorney to know 100% one way or the other whether or not the prosecutor's bluffing. And so at that point, you're playing poker with your life. And some people are totally comfortable doing that. Some people, feel like that it's absolutely no problem for them to gamble a little bit. Obviously, the amount of exposure that they have and the amount of jail time that they can do affects their willingness to gamble. Because in some cases, let's say that we have a case where the person, because of the sentencing guidelines, has to get, say, 10 years, and we've got a plea offer for 1 year. Then you're really gambling with 9 years. If you don't take that deal for 1 year, you don't know. Maybe there won't be a plea offer, and if we lose a trial, you're going to get 10 years. So it gets a little bit confusing, and it gets very, very difficult sometimes to make these decisions because everyone's heard of the person getting the sweetheart deal the day before trial. And certainly we've worked out many cases where we have gotten extraordinarily good plea offers right before trial. It's just you never know when it's going to happen. And that's one of the problems. That's where having a very good relationship with your attorney is so important. That's where knowing everything that you can know about your case is so important, where you've got that good, solid relationship and you know everything that there is to know about your case, so you are in the best position to make that decision for yourself. An attorney can advise you, say, hey, I think it's a good idea for you to take this deal or not, or that we should gamble. But at the end of the day, it's your decision. And no attorney is going to force you or threaten you or coerce you into taking a plea offer. And that's just not something that we do. It's your life and it's your call. So if you are facing criminal charges and you'd like to speak with an attorney, give us a call. 602-989-5000 is our number, and thanks so much.